Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. This is kind of a different introduction. It's Sunday morning and I'm editing videos, and I realized that I cut off the first part of this video. So I'm doing my introduction now, and there's the little Django and little Joe. If you ever thought they were lazy mutts. Well, oh, somebody opened the door. Oh my gosh, Jane just walked in. Yeah, just go back to sleep. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Look at those boys. Are they lazy? Well, back to the video. Well, anyway, so it's kind of close to life, and given the state of the way this thing looks is like kind of amazing, really. But anyway, I think I'm gonna pull this whole cabinet board out of the bottom of it, and so I can clean it a little bit better because it's so nasty. So I'll probably just take this whole playfield out of the machine, set it aside, and then pull that cabinet board out. So I took out that big bolt there, and there was another one like it right there. Disconnected that plug. That's the plug for the door, plug for the chimes, plug for the knocker, and these are the Jones plugs that go up into the back box. So now this whole thing is free, and it'll just pick up. So I'm gonna grab both hands. I'm gonna set it up on top of the game here. So I don't normally take the time to pull these completely out, but it just depends on how nasty. Oh, talk about nasty. Is that what is that? Is that a dead? No, that's not a, I don't know what that is. Oh, that is a carcass. Yes. Ha, that's a little limb right there. Oh, Django. Yes. If you ever wanted evidence of a mouse, that's evidence of a mouse. Yes. I wonder if he got cooked underneath there, or he just like, yeah. I'm not gonna let him have it, but I'm gonna let him have a smell of it. That didn't even that's. Oh, he's kind of halfway thinking about it. No, that's too grody for even him. He doesn't really recognize that as an animal. It was petrified. I mean, it was like a cicada crustacean or an exoskeleton. I mean, it was like completely gone. It's like the bugs had gone in and eaten the innards out. It was petrified. Anyway, so that was exciting. There's stamps all over this game. They're like foreign stamps. Yeah, New Guinea. There's another one I saw down there. I've been trying to keep them because I don't know what that says. Republic Rwanda. Anyway, this was somebody's dad's game, I believe. It's been in the family for a while, so I've been trying to keep the stamps. Oh, there's a bunch more down here. I mean, they're mouse infested, but you know. Anyway, oh, there's another one. There's another critter. Yeah, pretty grody. Yeah, if you really don't like mice, you don't want to mess with old games. Keep the name off of it, but old drugs. Oh, there's some in there. God, just get rid of those. Just throw those away. Yeah. So that was pretty grody. My hands smell good, Django. Oh my. So I'm gonna go through. I think I'm tempted to take this out and hose it down with the pressure washer. I mean, it's just like what? Oh, that's a rubber grommet or washer. These things are just like, see, like that is actually, I'm looking at it, it's adjusted about right. Every one of those is opening and closing, but need to pass a file on every one of those contacts and clean them. Those are all adjusted right. Those are all adjusted right. Those are too. I mean, no, this one doesn't look right. Well, let's see. Yep, it is. And this one here. That one there is just barely touching, but it's moving. So I'm not gonna mess with it. I mean, geez, I've just gone through and checked. Let's check these. Really ought to press on the plate. They're all good. All good. Gonna have to check these, but mainly I just want to get this a little bit cleaner. It's just so freaking nasty. I'm really thinking about hosing this thing down. I wish I had a pressure washer up here, but I don't. I've got one at home. I might just, it's just filthy. So, I mean, the water's not great, as long as it gets dried off fairly reasonably soon before it has a chance to flash rust and everything. I think it'll be all right. Stick it out in the sun, do it on a hot day and spread it, maybe then throw some alcohol on it and stick it in the sun, let it dry off pretty quickly before it has a chance to rust much. I think it'd be all right. That's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I had a change of heart. I decided not to take it home and pressure wash it. I just vacuumed it really well with a toothbrush. So I scrubbed with the toothbrush, and the other hand I had the Sucker 2000 right there next to it. And it was actually cleaned up pretty well, and it's all wet right now. I just hosed it down with a liberal amount of alcohol. I mean, I just wanted to kill any remaining germs, that I actually hosed down the inside of it with a bunch of alcohol too. Hosed down and sprayed it. Not as much as the top, but I just, it's damp all the way in there. So I'm kind of getting fumed out at the moment, all the alcohol. So I think I'm gonna step outside and let this bake a little bit. Off gas if you like, but it actually looks a whole lot better. So it's the next day. I've gone through and I've cleaned every one of these switches on this whole thing. I adjusted 2 of them. I think that switch in the very far back there, I have no idea what that is for because it's not labeled. And there was one of these on this stack there. I think I adjusted. All the rest of them were good. Some of these were real hard to read. The ones I could read, I went ahead and wrote with magic marker, just so if I get in a situation I'm trying to diagnose, I can. Clean all the Jones plugs, some Scotch-Brite, that all cleaned up pretty well. And they actually weren't too bad considering how everything else looked. I'm getting ready to clean this, what's that, match units, probably doing some other things also. So this one is one that just goes around in a circle, around and around and around. It looks like there's parts missing, but that's just because it's probably a universal bracket. So you could see that's not coming, it's sluggish. That's not all coming all the way back. See, it's not back. So I'm pretty certain it's just the face of this is all it is. But just to prove myself that, I'm gonna get some alcohol, spray the surface of this, and I bet it starts working. That's just rubbing alcohol there. And we'll see. Still a little gummy, but it's better. In any case, this is going to have to come off in any case and clean it. It's pretty nasty. It's actually almost like tacky. Do a faint touch. So take off this nut, and it doesn't really matter where it goes because it just keeps going around. A lot of times, if this thing goes forward and back, you need to keep track of which finger is pointing at which thing, because usually there's only 2 ways it can go because there's a flat spot in this shaft. So I've got this spider off of there. And now you can see it moves very, very easily. There's just absolutely no friction at all. So all the problem is this. So I'm just gonna clean it with some alcohol and some more Scotch-Brite and then put some PBR grease to lube it up. This stuff cuts off pretty easy. So we got that surface all cleaned up, put a little PBR grease on there. I also cleaned the fingers just with the Scotch-Brite. Just cleaned each one of those pads. You can see it's got a flat spot, and there's a flat spot on that gear. So there's two ways these can go. And again, this one doesn't matter because it just keeps going around and around and around. But the ones that go forward and back, it does matter which way they go. So that's working a lot better. Haven't gone through the score reels just because I don't want to do them right now, and I haven't gone through the credit unit for the same reasons. Got the play field sticking out, sitting over here. I'll deal with that once I put it back in the game, so it's just easier height to work at. I'm going to put this back in the game, plug everything in, and then I'm going to get the play field, stick it in here, and go through the switches on the play field, and at least that bonus, which is probably a bonus unit. Actually, this game doesn't have bonus. Maybe that's the timer unit, which is kind of like a bonus that steps up and steps down. So it's, yeah, same mechanism probably, except it's going to have some electronics somewhere to keep track of the time. So I got the cabinet board back in, got the play field back in here. I've cleaned all the switches. I'm just investigating this unit here. This is the time one, and it's kind of interesting because it's got 3 relays. It's got one that steps up, one that's supposed to step down. It's just gummed up. And I think basically when both of these relays go at the same time, it allows it to go reset all the way back. So like at the beginning of the game, it wouldn't be at the end of the ball because there are no end of balls. But anyway, so you do both of those, and instead of having a tick to get back to home, it can just go wham. So I was looking over here, and this Jones plug here, I think this is how you set probably your initial time. So this is set at 1 minute, I believe, because that's minutes and seconds. So you set it up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds just for your initial time. I'm gonna take this spider off here. And yeah, somebody has like adjusted these with a tool without taking it off. So you get these creases like that. It's really better to take this off and bend it with your hand if you want to tighten that up. And sometimes that does need to be done, but doing it without unmounting it, and oftentimes it doesn't actually even tighten it up because you bend it, but then you make a little S shape and you don't really add much tension, and you end up with mangled leaves. So anyway, this is one that matters where it goes. And you can see where somebody's marked it once before, right? That mark there goes with that mark. Well, if it's going to focus, get my light into view. That mark, I don't know if you can see that mark. It's visible barely. Anyway, I'm going to take this off and clean it and put it back together and see if it works a little bit better. All right, so I got that all cleaned up and lubed up, and now it steps up. Steps down. Let me put some more in here. You push that in and that, they all go home. So that's done. This is a little time circuit. I think it's just a classic RC circuit. That capacitor looks like the casing on the outside just twirls around. I don't know if it's original or not, but I think I'll swap it. It's definitely pretty old. So it says 25 MFD, 50 volts. I got some of those. I think I'll just solder it up here in the game. Otherwise I got to desolder all these since there's no plug for it. So I'll unscrew it and bring the soldering iron over here and do it. Just for fun, I'm gonna test this thing, see what it test that. It's supposed to be 25. Well, I got my meter backwards. And it's 45, so it probably would work because this thing doesn't actually have to be precise because there's a rheostat which is a variable resistor, which basically charges this so you can control the speed this thing gets charged. When it gets to a certain threshold, it kicks over and steps up that time unit, but like the bonus unit, but it's a timer. So if this is 25 or 50 or whatever, it doesn't really matter that much as long as within the realm of schematics. I am going to actually look at the schematics, see what this is supposed to be. I'm assuming that's original, but maybe not. Well, there it is. 25 microfarads, 50 volts. Oh, well, yeah. I wasn't talking to you, Django, but I love you anyway. So that's all back in there. I bet the fellas that designed this were like, man, we got the coolest thing ever. We got some solid state electronics going on in here. Real early version of that in a pinball game. Anyway, I think I've gone through everything necessary to make this thing reboot and reset, except for the score rules. I just don't want to mess with those right at the moment, but I'm going to put the playfield down and see where we're at in terms of functionality. All right, I got it plugged in here. Give it some juice. Okay, this core motor went home. Showing no credits. Let's see what happens. Start button. Nothing. Let's try giving it a credit. Now let me just press the button here. Oh, that brought the playfield to life. See if it'll. Still nothing. Wow, there's no switch. No auto switch. That's a problem. So this is what it looks like underneath here. This is just this got totally mangled up. I'm gonna remangle it. That needs to go on the other side of it. Actually, that whole leaf, both leaves need to go on the other side of it. There we go. I'll have to do some more manipulation, but I'm getting closer. Either way, that's not cause of our problem. A loud buzzing. I'm not sure what that, because I can't read it, so I don't know what it is. Wait, that's, actually that's the locking coil. So it's just noisy. Well, this other switch is all mangled up in here. Jesus. I'm gonna take this apart and look into the switch a little bit. Well, I got this switch adjusted. It didn't have anything to do with it. A lot of the Bally games of this period, it's a Williams, but if these switches are not adjusted properly, the game won't boot. Because all the power goes through both of them. So anyway, what I did realize, let me turn the game on here. If I go up here and hit the coin relay right there, resets score reels, resets the time unit, and we are in a game. So not all the features are working, but you see these lights are coming on. Some things are scoring, some things are not. Slingshots are dead. They may just need cleaning. Didn't clean them, but anyway. So we're not getting the coin relay to go when we're hitting the start button. Actually, let me put it manually. We do have credits. It's just dirty. It says 7. Somebody has put tape over there or something, but there's residue. But anyway, it's not zeroed out. So there's credits on there. That's actually not making. I'm not doing a very good job filming. I think that switch right there, that's supposed to be, so when you run out of credits, that bar comes down there and pushes down and opens that, so you can't start a game, but it's open now. So that may be why the start button is not working. Let me adjust that and see if I can start a game. So I adjusted that switch so it's made, and that one, that switch is made, and that switch is made. One of those is to enable the game to start, the 40 volts to pass through, and one of them is for the 6 volts for the light, which would be on that light right there, which says there's credit on the game. So let's see if it'll start now. Do I have credits? It says I've got 3 credits, still nothing. Oh, now it's not allowing me to give a credit. So we got a credit unit here. The other thing I noticed earlier is the 100 point was locking up. Wasn't in a game, so that wasn't the case there. Press this credit unit again. See this switch here? Watch this. One, hit the credit, and it's got to contact the other one for the unit to run. This one's only got 2 wires. Kind of wild. Anyway, I'm gonna dig through the schematics and figure out why I'm not getting my coin relay. Watch this 100-year unit when I turn it off. So that thing is plunged in. So something on the play field is closed when it shouldn't be, which is causing that to give 100 points. It might be my pop bumpers I've got hanging down. I don't know. All right, so I dug out the schematics. This coin relay that I want to work, that if I push manually, the game fires up. Come down here. There's my replay button. I'm pushing that. It's not doing anything. I ought to look inside the cabinet and make sure that's making. I haven't done that yet. It also goes through this make or break switch. That's normally open when the replay unit 0 position. So that's that switch in the back of on the credit unit that I adjusted so that it would be closed. So I think that's closed. And then there's a switch on the game relay that needs to be closed. That's normally open. And then there's on the index wheel, there's a make or break that's normally closed, index A. So index, so it's the first one next to the motor, and A is the bottom. So I can check that one again. I've gone through and checked all these, but I can check that again real easy. So I'll do that first. So I just checked that index A, that looks good. Game relay, I may have trouble finding this one because they're not all labeled, but that could be a problem. I think that one's good. Let me look at the replay button too. So replay button and the game relay. There's the replay button. It looks like it's making, and those wires are attached and it's plugged in over here. The game relay. Shoot, I don't know which one it is. There's a couple that I could not read. This one, I could read the first two letters. It said SH or something like that, and then I couldn't read it anymore. Eject, reset, coin, and those last two. Sure enough, it's written down there and it says game. Kind of sloppy penmanship, but that top one is the game relay. So let me boot this up again and see, because that's normally, well, we'll just try both positions and see if that helps. So just turn the game on. I'm gonna, boom, almost dropped the playfield. Wow, that would have been fun. Just further, a little further back. That would have been real fun. Yeah, that's the game. So let me look at this thing. So some of these should be probably, the bottom two are normally closed. And the colors are, oh geez, one's yellow and blue and yellow, and one's ash and green. So I haven't figured out what it is, but I have a new suspicion. So there's the coin relay. So you ought to be able to press the button and start the coin relay. But also, when you put in 5 cents or 10 cents or a quarter, that also, when you do the 5 cents, should do the 5 cent relay and basically open this coin relay, and same with the 10 cent and 25 cents. So it's not, there's several paths to operate this and none of them are working. And the 5 cent, well, you do one of the switches for the coins, it does relay. You do the other switch for a relay. So this one here, this one right there, you see that it does that right one there. And this one right here does the other one. If I can grab it. So I don't know if those are 5 cent or 10 cent because they're not labeled. But anyway, those are working. When those go, those should start a game. And it's not starting the game. So I wonder if the coil is bad or if the wire to the coil is bad. So I'm going to ohm it out and see what it looks like. Well, I decided to take a different approach. If I trigger it here, you see it held itself on for 2 or 3 seconds, which means it's working. So it's just not getting the pulse early on when it should, and I'm not sure why that is. I've got a break somewhere. Bad switch, bad wire, bad connector. Probably a bad switch or a bad connector. So I've done some more sleuthing. I confirmed that's a 10 cent relay and that's 25 cent relay. I don't believe there is a nickel relay in here. It's in the schematics, but I don't think they put it in the game. The other thing I realized is, so this is the 10 cent switch and this is a 10 cent plug. If I put the plug up here in 3 position, it would put 3 credits on the game. And there, 2 credits. And here, in the 1 credit, it's supposed to start the game, and it does not. So, there's that. On this side, there's no wire at all. And there never was. This side, there's that wire there. Per the schematics, that goes right to the coil and should fire it off. The coin coil. Let me show you. So that's that 10 cent jack, but it's in the 1 position. Basically, that 10 cent switch there, and that we know that it's working because it's doing all kinds of other things. When it goes through that plug, it should go through and go right to the coin relay. So I'm going to see if I have, so that's a green and white, if I've got continuity between the coin relay and that jack. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Well, I think I figured out the problem. When I got down here looking, see that? It's not soldered on. Well, it was, but it's broken off. Not exactly sure where it goes. think it, well, it probably goes right there. That's where it looks like it's belongs. Let me zoom you in there. Those little strands are the telltale. I'm gonna look and see. So it'd be on the same switch as that holding leaf there when it engages. That usually those on the inside, or those are the ones that when it closes that stays on until something else opens it up. Well, I had that intuition that it wasn't had a bad connection to power, but it was only one side of that power. So anyway, let's boot it up and see if we get anything better now. Give it credit. Yeah, at least that was it. Okay, and I got that locked on coil, turn the game off. So that's probably something pretty simple, the locked on coil. Just a switch on the playfield probably. So we got it booted up. It's a Sunday. Django is ready to go. I don't know where he's at. Where did you go? Run off? Where did you run off to, Django? You're in the back. Are you snoozing, dude? Yeah, we got a bed for him back here. He snoozes sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll work on this a little bit more tomorrow. So it's the next day. I decided I'm going to look at this 100-point switch that's locking on. And let me show you first here. Start up a game. There's my 100-point relay. See if I turn it on, it immediately locks on again, and it's, I think it's how well you can see, but it's those switches. That one there is probably the one that holds itself on, and it's not holding this. It's pulling itself. So basically, let me turn it off real quick. So basically, when this one goes in, this thing when it closes, it opens a switch that breaks current to, I believe this, usually it's the innermost switch that allows us to open. So it forces it to go through the entire cycle. But it's not something up here, because this thing is, no matter what, even if I break it manually, it really goes. So something's on the playfield's doing it. I just looked through the playfield already, and I didn't see anything obvious. So there's the 100-point relay. So what's causing that. And I looked over here, I saw all 3 pop bumpers, the switches, and they're normally open. And they are not. You see that switch, it's not open because I don't have the pop bumper in there. So I'm gonna put paper in there and we'll see if that fixes it. All right, so I slid a piece of paper under each of those switches. We'll boot it up. And it's not locked on, there's no humming. And I believe we're in a game. Let me lay the playfield down and we'll look at it. Okay, so we're just booted up. We got 60 seconds. It's like the clock is not running. I don't know what requires if. Nope, that got it going. Clock's running. Wow, it's going fast. So I think if you spell these out, those are lit now. If I hit this, it should add some time. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it added 20 seconds. Same with these. It should add some time. Time is clicking off really fast. Those ought to be about seconds. It says time units, but you know, something like seconds. That'd be like super hard. Now this game should end right now. Game over. I don't see a game over light. I don't know if there is one. I assume there is, but I have to look on the back glass. Anyway, the first thing I'm gonna do, so I guess the main features are working up there, the travel and the time. I guess let me start up another game. Try to hit these 500 points. That's working. Set this switch here. And these are probably just like 10-point switches. just realized there are no slingshots on this game. Huh. Let's see if this is 5,000 when lit. I don't know how you light it. Light may not be working. Maybe if you light all of them. Okay, so we've got travel and time spelled out. I don't know. We got special lit. I don't know where the special is at. Maybe it's down here. Now we got the clock running, so how do we stop? Oh, that stops the clock. Yeah, that shot there stops the clock. So what else? So I don't know how we light that 5,000 when lit. Seems like most everything else. Let's see if this is add 10 time units. That gives you 2,000 points. It does. That should give you 1,000. So I think most everything's working. I need to look at that clock or that 5,000 point shot. And I definitely need to adjust that time. So I think I'll adjust the time first because this thing is like driving me crazy. It's going so fast. I'll let it burn through. I'll pick up the playfield and look. So there's this rheostat on this that's charging up this pot. So I don't know which way to turn it, but I'm gonna turn it. It's already almost one way. Let's go the other way. Go something like that. And start up a game. Hit something to start the clock. Is the clock running? Okay, now it's running. 2, 3. It's still kind of fast. 2, 3, 4. Let's go a little further. 2, 3, 4. That's still kind of fast. It's all the way over too. Yep. I think I just cleaned this thing by scrubbing it, or I got it turned off now. Or maybe the game's over. Yeah, the game's over. Yeah, the clock's running. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's pretty fast still. I put in the right sized capacitor. I may go up, make that twice as big so I can put it twice as low, and then I can tune this. That'll put this in the middle of this pot range. Either that or I got to put in a larger K pot. I think this probably is a better thing to do. When I took the other one out, it actually measured almost twice as big as this. It was like, it's supposed to be 25. I think it was, it's been a day or two. It's for me, 46, I think is what I measured. I hate to have to pull that off again there, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I just put another one there in parallel. And actually that was slightly undersized. It called for a 25 and I actually put it in a 22 because they don't hardly make 25s anymore. So I've got 44 now when it calls for 25. So I'm gonna boot this thing up again. Should get the clock going. That light there is the clock. So it's pretty slow. So now I can speed it up to where I want it. 3, 4, 5. That's about 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. Okay. So now I've got this size, so this rheostat potentiometer can tune this. Basically, just allows a trickle of current into this. When this gets to a certain voltage, this transistor sees it, it fires off and lets current go and pulses this, which takes your 5 seconds off. It doesn't really need to be seconds per se. This basically is how you make the game harder or easier. So, you know, for just kind of your casual player comes up here, it's, you know, they could have a minute game real easy if they don't get anything, if they don't hit anything. 1 minute, they're done. It's kind of tough. Actually, another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start it, because this is starting on a minute. I'm going to start it at a, ooh, that's wrapped around there. It's kind of a, well, I guess it's not so bad. I just need a little more length. Probably not a bad idea, wrapping it. I'm going to start it at, say, minute 45. It's a good semi-round number. And now I'm going to look at schematics and figure out what causes that 5000 when lit to light. So I found that eject light, and it's basically, so it's running up and down on the timer unit, and when it gets to 0, it passes through here. So only when you're out of time and the ball is still alive, so the game doesn't actually end when you're out of time, is what I was thinking. You got to be out of time and the ball drains. So when you're out of time, you still got a chance to add more time with that live ball, and you also got a chance to shoot that saucer and get 5,000 points. So let's see if that's working. All right, so I got the game going, just 10 seconds left. If it gets to 0, that should light up. And it did. I'm gonna hit it, see if we get 5,000 points. All right, we did. Let's see if we hit this, we end the game. Yeah, everything, all the noise stopped. I don't see an end to game light, probably a burned out bulb, because yeah, there, I get the match going up there, so it did end the game. Game over lights probably burned out, because they're always burned out, because they're on 99% of the time. I think these chimes have gotten really, really hot. I mean, it's almost melted down here. Somebody's replaced these. Those don't look like they're original. They're too clean. But that plunger there is stuck, and the other one's stuck, and this one's either missing or it's stuck up inside of here. I'm gonna take this whole thing out and pull it over the bench and figure out what I need. I'm betting I'm gonna replace some coils. So I took this chime unit out. It's just got the plug, so it comes out pretty easy. And the little foam bushings, they are just like totally disintegrated. The foam pad at the bottom, the same. Like I said, now you can see it a little bit better. Those are stuck. Oh, that one came free. So maybe there's hope. That one came free too. I don't know if that one's in there or not. I'm gonna start by just measuring the resistance on these coils and see what I get with them. So put the multimeter in horseshoe mode and see if I can get a measurement. I don't think I'm making good contact. Bouncing around, looks like something like 20 or something. Let me try another one here. I saw 11, 10 or 11, that's probably about right. So that one's good. They should all be the same. 10 or 11, let me try this first one again. 10, so they're all good, so may just be stuck. I'm gonna take them apart, at least a new sleeve. I'm gonna probably just take this whole thing apart, put the whole thing, the ultrasound, to get rid of all the old gaskets and bushings, and put all new soft parts in there. So these are just like little copper wires, you just kind of got to bend them out a little bit, and you can pull that off. And then there's all these parts you want to keep up with. Put them on a tray. Yeah, it's just garbage. Just gonna take these coils out of here. This thing will, even if it was working, it will always sound a lot better if you rebuild these with the new, all the new parts. Yeah, that would. So that's just. It looks like somebody's tried to lubricate these because they are greasy. You see that? It's like, I don't know if y'all are focused in, but it's just dried black gunk. They probably didn't actually put grease on it. They probably put some kind of oil, but over time it turns into grease. So now this thing, that one's broken. See, it's missing the little nylon piece on it, and it's not anywhere around here, so I'll need at least one new plunger. One of these things is not like the other that Mr. Rogers taught us. So all the metal parts, I'm gonna throw them in the ultrasonic, clean them up. Geez, the sleeve is gonna, I may have to pound that sleeve out of there, or that coil is gonna have to be replaced because I don't really want to use that re-sleeve. Let me get my sleeve pounding tool and see if I can get it out of there. So this little tool here, it's recessed and it fits perfectly in there, and it's a perfect tool to beat these out. Now this one, since it's got such a long neck, is going to be a little bit harder. And when you hold these, you want to support it on the back so you don't blow the coil out. And very often you can, yeah, this one's coming. Now I've got to get a tool to beat this the rest of the way through. And this one's going to be a little bit tight, so when you put in the new one, you got to get clean, maybe wet it up with a little alcohol, and then oftentimes you get to use that same tool again to get the new sleeve in there. But it's you know, it saves you $10, and it also, you look how dirty that is coming out of there. It's just nasty as a main thing. It'll probably go in there moderately well, maybe a little tight, but it won't be as tight as getting this one out. So I usually use a nut driver. I used to beat on this end, but this end you want to keep pristine so it fits into the sleeves well. You see, I had to put a grinding wheel and bevel it because I'd been beating this one to get it back, and that just that messes up your interface that you really are concerned about. So I decided to just keep beating them all the way through. Works better when they get stuck like this. And I should have put some alcohol on this when I put it through so it would be wet and slimy inside of there. That was my mistake. It's coming though. There we go. All right, see if I don't know if you can see in there, but it's black. Even my tool's all nasty just from one pass through there. So these coils and that whole assembly's good. I may stick my tool in there too. So all the metal parts are going in the cleaner, and they will come out looking, including the 2 plungers that are salvageable, and we'll see how they come out here in a few minutes. So I pulled out the back glass. It's actually fair shape, but it's got some places that are looking pretty rough. That right there, and that is really caused by that's a little pad to keep it to protect it, but that's put all the friction from this whole top part concentrated right there. It's kind of beat it up. So I'm gonna triple thick this whole thing. I'm not gonna pull the edges off. I'm just gonna paint over the whole thing. It's real tempting to like clean up all that dirt. I'm not gonna do it. It's too fragile. I might clean the clear windows up with a little Windex or something, but I'll very carefully so I don't peel the white off adjacent to it. Then I'm gonna triple thick it. When I say triple thick, the product's triple thick. I'll show you here in a second. Lay down a pretty heavy coat and a super heavy coat over all the clear areas that you're gonna see through, so it's pulled up and it'll stay translucent, and that will protect it. I may touch this up a little bit. It is an opaque area. I mean, it's got the masking on the back so the light doesn't shine through it, which makes it look less bad when it's touched up. It'll look a little bit better than just being open anyway. I don't know what's on the other side of that. So some kind of aquamarine and green and orange probably could make that look better than that. So I'll probably touch that up. But the first thing to do is put down the triple thick and then paint the whatever kind of paint you're going to use on top of the triple thick. And then if you want to put a little more triple thick on the top of that to lock it in or whatever, Varathane, anything, just kind of lock in the paint, depending on the paint, because I'll usually use water-based paints for touching this stuff up. So anyway, I think I'll go triple thick this right now. So here's the product, triple thick, like Carlin. Anyway, put it on pretty heavy, especially over the windows. So I got a little specialty order in from Comet, just for this game. I got some UV wedges. I'm gonna put some spotlights in it because I think the UV is gonna make this thing pop considerably. I was kind of running low on the ice blue. I'm thinking about using ice blue for the GIs. Yeah, there's ice blue. And I also got some UV strip lighting. So I'm gonna make it as trippy as I can. That's my idea. And I'm gonna probably color these. I was thinking about, there's a aquamarine color. I think I'll make these aquamarine. I don't know about the other ones. Maybe make those red since this is red and they kind of light, or I don't know. Not that many inserts really. That's gonna be green, that's gonna be red, those are gonna be red. Maybe make Travel Time 2 different colors. I don't know. Most of the colored colors, a lot of them, the Comet cells are kind of pastels, so they'll go well with this theme. And I think the UVs are just gonna make it bang. That's my goal anyway. I hope so. But the ice blue GI lights in here, I think it sets off the aquamarine that's all over the place. And I got my UV lights in, so I think it's gonna make it look really fresh. I did a T2 like this and I really liked it. With all the light blues, I think it looks great. So Jane's been putting in bulbs. She started with that. That is a pink bulb. It actually looks kind of peach colored. And I suggest to try a purple bulb. That's a purple, not the purple passion. And these are all Comet colors, just the regular frosted purple. The purple actually looks pink, especially after it's gone through a white or even almost a yellowed, opaque white lens. The purple is a really good pink, and the pink, especially after going through white lens, is kind of yellowy. So just so you know. So I got some more parts in from Steve at the PBR. Get this credit button. The old one is right here. It looked awful. It's just hanging there. It's a new replacement. It's anodized aluminum. Looks great. So I'm going to screw back in this backer plate, goes in the back side of it, and put it all together, and that's going to be a nice addition. I mean, front's, it's still weathered, but that just looks, it's tiki-tack. I'm not sure if this button originally had a spring or not, but I'm putting a little small spring. This is a spring from a pop bumper skirt. So it gives it a better feel. I mean, you could adjust the blade of that switch to make it springy, but I think this works better. I'm still gonna have to adjust a little bit because it's not quite making contact there, but now the button has a good feel. So I'm gonna just put a cotter pin in there and this will be good. There, so that's all done up. All right, it's working well. So I got my flipper parts in from Steve, like a bushing or a plunger, bushing, and you can't really see it, but new coil stops. I also got in a replacement chime for this broken one. And Steve only had the medium, he didn't have the small, but I got the small anyway, and I'm just gonna trim it. I looked up on Marco's website to give the length for Williams small is 5 3/4, so I'm just gonna get it. I'm using the old one just kind of as a template. I'm gonna trim that off, and then I'm gonna measure 5 3/4 inch, draw another line, then I'm gonna saw those two ends off, and I'll be ready to install. So I got that chime bar cut off, stuck in there. Looks pretty decent. This game's about ready for a test run. Just put on some flipper rubbers. I don't have a lock. I'm gonna put on a new lock. Probably put one of the keyless ones. It's going to some dude's house, so just put one of these dudes that don't have a lock. And anyway, so I got the coin lock installed there, and I got the plunger to stick in there, and I'm gonna have to print out some cards. I've also got to do something about that. I'm gonna try to go to Home Depot or something and just find a can of spray paint and paint that whole upper skirt that aquamarine blue. That's my goal anyway. So yeah, looks pretty awful. So maybe swing by the store this afternoon. But anyway, I'm gonna install the plunger in here, and I'm gonna fire this dude up and play a game, see if the chimes lock on. Okay, so I get the plunger on there, and then there's always one more. Those buttons are nasty, so I'm gonna pull off both these flipper buttons and throw them in the ultrasonic, try to get some of that black goo off the side, just old dead skin and whatever else is on everybody's fingertips. So here they are going in. Let's see what they look like coming out. So while those flipper buttons are cooking back there, I want to tell you about these. So about the Comet UV light. So I bought a bunch of strip lighting and different things. I was going to try to basically put a bunch of UV lights onto the playfield to really make all the pinks and yellows and just really pop. Unfortunately, these UV lights from Comet, they are just not very bright. I mean, they turn on, they're UV-ish, but they only transmit like an inch or two. I mean, I guess it'd be okay if you had some like UV posts or something like, or UV bands that were like really next to them, but I wanted to broadcast out, and they're just not strong enough. Maybe it's because they're 6 volts instead of the 12 volts. I have used some UV lighting myself that I've kind of made my own homemade like stadium lights on the side on a Demolition Man, my own Demolition Man I got at home, and I put some UVs on there because this kind of got the same like fluorescent pink highlights, and it does broadcast all the way across. And I mean, it's pretty awesome actually if you're playing it kind of in a dark mode, in a dark room. But I have to say, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Comet bulbs. I use them all the time. But when it comes to the UV ones, I'd steer clear of them. They're just not bright enough. Maybe just go with the 12 volt system for the UV lights. It's kind of a pain because then you have to have a whole different 12 volt power supply. Whereas these things, they have, you know, Comet sells these little piggyback systems. You put it in a bulb and then you've got a parasitic takeoff, and then you can plug in one of these strips. You know, I've already tried it here. I guess I could plug one of these in and show you real quick. I don't really have really easy access to a bulb. Anyway, just trust me. All it's going to see, you're going to see a little purple light. It's just not going to be very bright. So that's my review of the UV lights from Comet. It may be all the 6-volt UV lights are not very bright, but I didn't find them adequate, so I'm not going to stick them on there. Yeah, I had like, I don't know, 40 bucks of bulbs for UV stuff because I was going to really do it up, but just not going to work for this one. So here's how these flipper buttons look coming out. I even scrubbed them a little bit. They're still a little bit stained, but they're clean. At least like from the standpoint of 50 years of grime, but they're not perfect looking, but you know, they're all right. Anyway, I'm throwing back in there and get this thing fired up. We're gonna play a game. All right, so I threw the back glass in there. Let's fire this dude up. Something's locked on. I'm locked on. If you like F14, I don't like that game. I got a 100-point relay. I'm gonna do that again. That's just show you what's going on. Wow. See that 100-point there, and I turn it off, and I can see it actually. I'll do it one more time so y'all can see it. Those pop bumpers is on. You start a game. See, okay, gotta adjust those pop bumpers. It's always something, but you know, that's what happens when you go through these. So just I'm gonna adjust the spoon underneath. Try to get you in here where you can see this. So there's the yellow. That's the yellow piece there. That's the skirt coming down, and it pushes there. And see that it moves as soon as I touch the top one, or the one on the left. It moves the bottom one, so it's already touching. So that bottom one needs to be bent down just a little bit. Help if I don't use my camera lens. Still not enough, and that was too much. I'm gonna set this camera down and do it properly. I can't film and do it at the same time. So I noticed one more thing. All these the spoon stack, the stack on the switch, these are gonna have to be adjusted because if I watch, what's that little yellow thing, the shaft of that skirt, if I push, I'm pushing from the playfield side, I'm wiggling it, so I can see I popped it all the way off of the spoon. It's hard to see. Yeah, see it came through the other side. So that spoon is not centered. It's already off to the side. So I'm gonna have to loosen those two screws right there and twist these spoons so that it's sitting right in the bottom of the spoon to start with. And I'm gonna have to do that for all three of them. And then after I do that, then I'll adjust the tension on the springs, and then we'll fire it up again. All right, take two. Let's stepping up our time. There's a ball, and nothing sounds like it's locked on. By the way, I am digging these basic ice blue lights, playfield lights. I mean, I know it's not traditional, but you know, I think it's awesome. The guy told me to do what I wanted to do with it. This is what I want to do with it. This is what I do with it. It was my game. That's pretty much the instructions I had. So I hope he likes it because I love it. Play a little one-handed here. That didn't score. That flipper was weak. It's getting better. A lot of times flippers like that haven't been played forever. A few switch hits or with the switches will self-clean. That's quick action there. So while we've got some time, I'm just going to run around with my hands, see what's scoring. That should be 1,000 points and stop the clock. Let's get this clock running. So that switch is a little not sensitive enough. I had to hit it kind of hard to get it to go. This should stop the clock. And it stopped it. And it gave me, I think it gave me 1,000. Let me hit it again. And the 1,000 rolls over to 10,000. Okay, so this should do the same. Okay, that's good. This should start the clock. The clock is running. Is it gonna move? Yep, okay. This should be 500. And the hundreds is rolling over to, this should be 500. Okay, this should, okay, E. Guess I already hit the T. Okay. That gave me my time special. So that gave me 5 units of time there, or 5 increments of it. Anyway, whatever you want to call it. Let's spell out these other ones. And that was the other special. That also gave me 5 units. So this one, switch here, didn't go before. Just need a little adjustment on there. This should be 2,010 time units. I heard the 10,000 and 2 knocks. So the knocks are, when the knocker goes, the time unit goes. I'll do it again so we can watch it. Yeah, it just popped up through there again. So I think this thing's mostly working. Couple switches. That switch is not quite making very well. There, it's going. Let me stop it again. How do I stop it? Stop clock. Yeah, it's getting better. A lot of these switches, if you've ever seen Ron talk about it, the switch, and it's a good explanation. Those 2 switches are like this, and when they close and go further, so they slightly grind upon each other. So through usage, they're self-cleaning. The switch hadn't been used, and well, it's had a lot of mice running around this playfield peeing on everything since the last time it was used. Y'all do remember, well, for y'all it wasn't that long ago, this thing was a disaster zone. Awful, but look at it now, it's beautiful. Even the front looks pretty decent. I mean, that coin door came out pretty nice. Anyway, so I'm gonna fix a couple more things on this, get that painted up, get some cards in here, and then I'll do a gameplay video. So I'm gonna stop this video series of the repairs here, and I'll see you on the next one. If you like the videos, like them, subscribe, and cheers till next time.